And so for Tri Beta, I just wanted to mention that right now we have about 120 members, and we have 50 plus 51 new inductees today. We're going to have about 170 members in Tri Beta after today. So that's awesome. And we are very proud of our students for all of that. I also wanted to do a shout out for some of the things that Tri Beta has been doing since we went virtual. They have been doing the Sci-Fi Fridays, where they post videos about sci-fi on Friday. And so if you haven't been watching those, they're really kind of cool. I know they did some of those last semester also. In addition, on Tuesday, they have been trying to do some trivia, and my daughter and I participated in the first one, and it was a lot of fun. So they're still staying active, and they're trying to make sure everyone is still engaged in the biology department, or chemistry, or biochemistry, allied health, whatever your department is. So I want to thank Tri Beta for doing that. That has taken a lot of relief off of or a lot of stress off of my shoulders to make sure that we're still forming that community within the Boyer School and within St. Vincent. Tri Beta has really helped support all of that. Next week, we are going to have within the biology department on Friday a toast to the seniors at 3 o'clock on Friday, and then that will be followed by a scavenger hunt, and the home edition of the scavenger hunt. Okay, so today I'm going to be giving out 3 awards. The first one is our Academic Achievement Award in Biology. This honor is typically given at the Academic Honors Convocation, which is held in the Basilica, and all different majors give out an academic award for their program. So in our department, we have always gone with the student who has the highest GPA. We figure that is indicative of the highest academic achievement. I can tell you, however, we had many students that have above a 3.9 cumulative GPA that will be graduating this year. So congratulations. Actually, the majority of our seniors have either have a 3.4 or above. And so I would like to just give you the applause there for your academic achievement. The student that won the Academic Achievement Award is actually a double major, and she has an overall GPA that was the highest one in our department. And so the Biology Department Academic Award goes to Miss Alyssa Lee. Alyssa, do you want to, you have your webcam on there so everyone can see you. And so Alyssa's there. And so for outstanding academic achievement in biology presented by the biology faculty, I award this, I think you can see it, to Miss Alyssa Lee. Alyssa will receive this award along with a portfolio, which will she can take on in her future endeavors. Along with that, her name will be on the plaque that rests in our department on the 2nd floor outside of the general biology lab. So congratulations, Alyssa. Okay. We also give out 2 service awards within the department, and these are not presented at the Academic Honors Convocation. This is where we present those 2 awards. Started 3 years ago, so we're only we haven't been giving these awards for very long, and they are awards that are named after people that the biology faculty felt we needed to name awards after. And so in Joey's program that he put together, Mrs. Krivojansky is the first award, and so I wanted to just read a couple notes that I have for Mrs. Krivojansky. So Mrs. Krivojansky was known as Mrs. K. She was the biology department lab manager from 1986 until she retired and Mrs. Grace took over. She was many things to many people. To the work-study students, she was a boss, a mentor, and a counselor. She was demanding, but she helped students fulfill expectations with gentle guidance and nurturing. She spent numerous hours listening to academic and personal concerns and offering advice. To the faculty, Mrs. K was indispensable. She was a tireless worker and a valued friend. Her responsibilities are too many to list here, but her contributions enabled the faculty to focus on being better teachers, advisors, and researchers. She knew each of our idiosyncrasies and our expectations, and she was able to serve all those different personalities well. She also was a personal friend that always asked about your family, your personal lives, and how you were doing. Outside of the department, Mrs. K was the face of the department. She worked one-on-ones with vendors, inspectors, repair technicians, and others. She also participated in some of the programs on campus with elementary, middle school, and high school students in the summer. Suffice it to say, Mrs. K was a great representative of our department. If you talk to students who worked with Mrs. K, they will tell you she was probably their favorite person within the department. So we honor Mrs. K with the award, the Mrs. Krivojansky or the Mrs. K Award. Within the department, we always give this award. We always nominate students from the faculty and the staff, and we then look for students particularly who have been reliable and have given us long-term service like Mrs. K did and made an impact on multiple people. And so this year's Mrs. K Biology Service Award, which also has a plaque with it, and the student will also receive a portfolio, is presented to Miss Grace Knoll, and Grace also has her webcam on, for her reliability and service to the biology department. This is also presented by the biology faculty. So congratulations, Grace. Well deserved, and thank you from the biology faculty. The last award that I have to give today is the Laura Wilkinson Biology Service Award. Laura was a part-time lab manager in biology. Miss Vegas took over the same position that Mrs. Wilkinson was in. Mrs. Wilkinson, however, not only worked in the biology department, she also worked part-time in the chemistry department. So Mrs. Wilkinson, Laura, she became a member of the St. Vincent family as an undergraduate student. She was a chemistry major where she did a senior thesis analyzing chemicals in the wetland sediments and in the cattails of our bioremediation and chemical remediation on campus of the mine drainage. Laura became part of the biology department before Mrs. Grace did. She split her time between biology and chemistry. She was a beloved colleague and a dear friend to many. She was helpful to students and coworkers. She managed the chaos and the line between both. She transformed what was disorder into order, and she helped set up laboratories. Not only that, she was willing to step in and learn new techniques and new areas that she was not comfortable with, like microbiology, a chemist who was learning microbiology to help set up labs. She was patient. She corrected machines and people when they malfunctioned. She was friendly and optimistic. and she often had words of encouragement for students and for coworkers, and she believed in the success of every single person she came in contact with. Unfortunately, we lost Mrs. Wilkinson too early. We lost her in 2015. I can't believe it's been 5 years, and if you talk to the faculty that were around when she was around, it still hurts that we lost her too early. When the biology faculty look at who is deserving within our department of this service award, we look for people who gave their all. We look for people who have spanned multiple things within the department, not necessarily just long-term, but have really given their all to biology, the Boyer School of Natural Sciences, Mathematics, and Computer Science, and to St. Vincent College. And so this year, along with the paper copy that I have, this person will also go on a plaque and will also get a portfolio. So the Laura Wilkinson Biology Service Award this year goes to Mr. Joey Heath for his overall service to the biology department, presented by the biology faculty. And so congratulations, Joey.
Yay.
Congratulations to Grace. Congratulations to Alyssa. We are very proud of you, along with all of the seniors. And I am so sorry that I am not there to shake your hand or give you a hug for the excellent work that you've done within the department. And I don't want to get choked up, although I am getting choked up. So I would just like to say thank you on behalf of myself and on behalf of the department. At this point, I am going to mute myself, and I am going to turn it over to Joey then to do the biology tri-beta induction.
All right, so hi everyone. As Dr. Koehl said, I'm Joey Heath and I'm the current president of Tri-Beta, and I'm excited to welcome you all and get the new members inducted and get the seniors recognized. But before we do that, we do have to install the new officers, and since we have Dr. Ropski here, we were wondering if you have any, Dr. Ropski, if you have any advice or any kind words of encouragement for our new inductees before we get the official induction rolling.
Sure. I wrote down a few things, so I'm going to refer to my notes like a good professor, right? First of all, look behind me on the whiteboard. Look at, I've got welcome Tri-Beta members, and then it's in red, green, and red. How about that, Joey? Huh? Spare no expense here. So just a couple things first. So I've been lucky enough to have been on your campus 3 times now. And I want to tell the story of the first time I went, which is like, well, I don't know how many years ago, when you were just starting your Tri-Beta chapter. So Brother Albert meets me at the door of the monastery and says, we're going to have you stay overnight in the monastery. I'm like, oh, okay, this will be fun. So I go into this very Spartan room with a bed, not a flat screen TV, but a TV that looked like it had tubes and diodes and all kinds of stuff in it still. It was this old TV. I turned it on, and there were 2 channels that you could get. And then he said, you better go to bed early. I said, why? He says, because around 5:30, 4 o'clock, we'll start the Gregorian chant. I'm like, oh, okay, this sounds exciting too. All right. So 5 o'clock, I'm up, and there's he gave me the room, which is right next to the chapel. So there's no way I could avoid at 5 in the morning listening to all the Gregorian chants. So I have good memories of being at your school. It's always been wonderful. So a couple things more I just wanted to say. Well, first of all, obviously, welcome to Tri-Beta to all the new members. And the advice I have is just to remind you of all the cool opportunities that Tri-Beta would afford you. So remember, there is research grants that are available in September. And last year we gave out $76,000 worth of research grants to about 45 recipients. So the average recipient was probably around $1,000. Remember that you have the district convention, which unfortunately we're going to do at Duquesne this year. It didn't work out. We think Duquesne's going to host again next year. So remember, when you go to the district convention and present your research, if you take a first place in the poster or oral presentations, you then receive an $800 travel grant to go to the national convention. And unfortunately, there is no national convention this year. It was going to be outside of Atlanta in May. But I want to get on your calendar now, those of you that are joining that might be freshmen or sophomores, So in 2022, we are hosting our next national convention. We're not going to do one in 2021. We do it every other year. In 2022, it's going to be hosted by Oklahoma City University, which was the very first Tri Beta chapter. And it will be the absolute 100th anniversary of Tri Beta starting as an organization. So in 2022, so faculty and staff that are going to be around, this will be a big one, a fun celebration, lots of cool things. So try and plan on coming to that if you can. Remember that there also is the journal BIOS, in which you can get published as an author in a national journal. And that's a really cool thing to have done to you too. So let's see, I mentioned travel grants, I mentioned research grants, the BIOS. Oh, and remember the Berthoff Award. The Berthoff Award is given to the outstanding chapter across the country. You might not know this, but there's 626 chapters of Tri Beta across the United States and Puerto Rico. So to be mentioned in the top 10 or so is really quite the honor. So I would encourage you to apply for the Berthoff Award, which comes out, that's every September or so also as a chapter. All right, and I think I've hit everything I wanted to hit. So what's my last bottom final word advice here, Joey, is study hard, finish out the semester strong, do the best you can with this online excitement learning, which I don't know about you guys, but this is not the way I want to be teaching for a whole semester. So 5 or 6 weeks is okay, but man, online is hard. Like Jen was saying, I miss seeing my students in person. So we're going to do the same thing you're doing today, next Thursday. So Jen, I'm going to have the same thing happening when I give out the awards to the seniors. I'm going to get all choked up and I'm going to wish I could there to hug them and wish them good luck and all that kind of stuff. But we're doing all the virtual hugs to you guys, like Dr. Koehl said she would. So yep, that's it, Joey. That is my sage advice as the national president. So I would love to stick around and hear the rest of the induction, though, if that's okay.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. Ropski.
Great, you're welcome.
So now we're going to head on script here. And I do want to say that this is partially a little bit of an interactive thing. So for the new officers that are getting inducted and the new students that are being inducted as members, there's going to be some times where you're supposed to say, I will, or repeat it, like a repeat something that I say. So if you want to turn your mic on and say the response or repeat after me when I ask you to do that, feel free, and same for when Will gets on. But if you don't, we're just going to proceed as if you did say, I will, or repeat the chant. So going on from there, we're going to start by installing our new officers for the year. So Beta 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 was organized as an honor society in the biological sciences to recognize the interest and achievement of students in biology. The 3 major objectives of the society are to promote scholarship in the biological sciences, to promote the dissemination of biological knowledge, and to encourage research in order to achieve these goals. The Upsilon Gamma chapter of Beta 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 has elected the following officers to help guide our organization. New officers, your presence here signifies your determination to further the objectives and ideals of the society. If you are willing to continue to work towards these goals, please signify your intention by repeating the following pledge. This is your repeat moment for you new officers. All right, give you a sec to unmute, and then we're going to go. I hereby affirm.
I hereby affirm
That I will at all times strive.
that I will at all times strive
To perpetuate the spirit and idealism of Beta Beta Beta.
to perpetuate the spirit and idealism of Beta Beta Beta.
I will be true to its interests.
I will be true to its interests.
Be mindful of its honor.
Be mindful of its honor.
And strive to promote its objective.
And strive to promote its objective.
I will faithfully fulfill my obligations to the society.
I will
Faithfully fulfill my obligations to the society.
And maintain an attitude of helpfulness towards our membership.
And maintain an attitude of helpfulness toward our membership.
All right, thank you guys so much. You did better than I did with this whole Zoom thing when I was doing it in person, so good work. All right, Will Vericio. Will, your office is extremely important, for it is your records which will chronicle the meetings of our chapter. Not only will you keep records of all meetings, including chapter and executive committee meetings, but you will also be responsible for all of the correspondence and secretarial work of our chapter. At the end of your term, you are to turn over all records to the faculty advisors. You will accept this responsibility, or will you accept this responsibility and perform all the duties to the best of your ability? If so, answer, I will.
I will.
Awesome. All right, so Sarah, our new historian, is unfortunately unable to attend the ceremony today, but she has agreed to the following. I read to her, your duty shall be to keep record of all the activities of this chapter throughout this year. This record is a written one and also includes pictures and other memorabilia that would be appropriate for our chapter's scrapbook. You are also responsible for sending reports of new officers and chapter activities to the national office so that our chapter might be represented in Beta 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 Journal bios. Also included in your responsibilities is the counting of ballots for officer elections. Will you accept the various responsibilities and discharge your duties to the best of your ability? If so, answer, I will, which she responded, I will. On to Phil. Phil, your office is extremely important because it involves the financial health of our chapter. You are charged with maintaining an accurate record of all the finances of our organization. You are not to disperse funds to anyone unless approved by our chapter advisor. At the end of your term, you are to turn over all records to the faculty advisor. Are you willing to accept this financial responsibility and perform all the duties to the best of your ability? If so, answer, I will.
I will.
All right, Abby. Abby, you have been elected vice president of the Upsilon Gamma chapter of Tri Beta. It is important that a person of great organizational ability be elected to this office because it is the vice president who establishes the program for all meetings and activities throughout the year. A calendar should be prepared and presented at the first chapter meeting of the new academic year. You are further charged with the responsibility of assuming the duties of the office of the president in case of the absence or disability of the president. You are to assist the president whenever necessary. Will you accept these responsibilities and perform all the duties to the best of your ability? If so, answer, I will.
I will.
All right, Will, you have been elected president of the Upsilon Gamma chapter of Tri Beta for the academic year. Election to this office is an honor, but also an enormous responsibility. Your leadership will determine the future of our organization. You are charged with the responsibility of leading the chapter in all its activities, to preside at all regular executive meetings, and to call special meetings if the need arises. Will you faithfully discharge the duties with which you have been charged? If so, answer, I will.
I will.
Dear members of the Upsilon Gamma chapter, before you are the new officers of our chapter. They have each accepted the responsibility to lead our organization for the ensuing year, but their offices are useless without the support of our entire membership. Will you, as active members of Beta Beta Beta, agree to support your new officers and pledge your cooperation in all the activities of the Upsilon Gamma chapter? If all of the members agree, please respond, I will.
I will.
I will.
Beautiful. Officers, you've just heard the declaration made by our membership that they will support you in all your efforts on behalf of Beta 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 and our chapter. I urge you to lead wisely so that all who come in contact with our chapter may profit. With the ideas of service and cooperation foremost in your mind as you fulfill the duties of your office, I hereby proclaim that you are duly installed. Congratulations. Please now assume the duties of your respective offices.
All right, we are going to move on to the full member induction. So, Mr. President and members of Beta Beta Beta, I present to you these candidates who declare their wish to join us in the Fellowship of Science as regular members of Beta Beta Beta.
Are all qualified for regular membership in Beta Beta Beta?
They are. They all have signified a true interest in the biological sciences. They have met the requirements of the Upsilon Gamma chapter and of the National Constitution of Beta Beta Beta.
Who are the candidates?
Jared Ackerman, Jake T. Amatangelo, Marissa Anderson, Mary Frances Andriola, Sarah Paige Basala, Abigail M. Bodner, Jeffrey Sella, Aaron R. Chobe, Sarah E. Centaur, Philip A. Costa, Hannah DeBone, Danielle M. DeRienzo, Elena L. Durazio, Morgan Elric, Caitlin Essig, Lauren Galbraith, Robert A. Gigliotti, Colby S. Hannon, Adam Harbert, Madison Hill, Margaret Hines, Michael Cardos, Rachel A. Keller, Natalie LaMagna, Grace A. Leonard, Isabel Machado, Courtney E. Matucci, Leah A. Memo, Sarah L. Mills, Taylor A. Mahalo, Taylor N. Myers, Andrea N. Pancurik, Bertalon P. Papp, Mary E. Pearson, Johanna Phillips, Emily P. Rom, Rachel Chaffone, Olivia A. Scott, Andrew A. Scott, W. Scott, my bad, Georgia H. Sherry, Alyssa Turkovich, Mackenzie M. Ursney, Abigail G. Rennick, and William Veracio.
Candidates, we will now explain to you the symbolism, history, and purposes of our society and the privileges and obligations of its members. If everyone could turn their attention to the candles on screen. While each of these fires may signify many things, may each clear flame impress upon you our major objectives. First, to promote scholarship in the biological sciences. Second, to promote the dissemination of biological knowledge. And third, to encourage research.
Beta Beta Beta, the Honor Society in the Biological Sciences, was founded in 1922 by Dr. Frank G. Brooks. This, the upcoming Gamma chapter, is one of many chapters located in colleges and universities throughout the United States and Puerto Rico. It is the chapter that has chosen you to receive the honor and distinction of membership. You in turn accept an obligation to this chapter and to all other chapters. If you wish to join the perpetuation of the ideals of Beta Beta Beta, you would take the following pledge, which I shall first read completely and then in sections. I hereby affirm that I will strive to promote and perpetuate the spirit and idealism of Beta Beta Beta. I will be true to its interest, mindful of its honor, and will accept to accomplish its objectives. I will discharge faithfully my obligations to Upsilon Gamma chapter and to the society.
You have heard the pledge that you are to take. If you are willing to take it in good faith, repeat the phrases as the secretary gives them to you. The active members will rise and renew their pledge with you.
I hereby affirm that I will strive to promote.
I hereby affirm that I will strive
to promote and perpetuate the spirit and idealism of Beta Beta Beta.
And perpetuate the spirit and idealism of Beta Beta.
I will be true to its interest.
I will be true to its interests.
Mindful of its honor.
Mindful of its honor.
And will help to accomplish its objectives.
And will help to accomplish its objectives.
I will discharge faithfully my obligations.
I will discharge faithfully my obligations
to Upsilon Gamma chapter and to the society.
To the
Upsilon
Gamma chapter
and the society.
Candidates. Here are the key and the coat of arms of Beta Beta Beta. On the key, which is the common symbol of academic excellence, you will see 3 Greek letters, Beta Beta Beta, and the coiled serpent. The first beta stands for the Greek word balanos, which means acorn. It represents life in and on the ground. The second beta stands for the Greek word bouditase, which means little bird. It represents life in the air. The third beta stands for the Greek word boax, which means fish. It represents life in the water. All 3 words may be summed up in the one word, bios, meaning life. In addition to the Beta 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 also represents our three purposes: to promote scholarship in the biological sciences, to promote dissemination of biological knowledge, and to encourage research. The coiled serpent in the center of the key is an ancient symbol of wisdom. Now, looking at the coat of arms, this coat of arms shows the acorn, the bird, and the fish, representing life on the ground, in the air, and in the water. The knight's helmet signifies that the scientist is always ready to apply his or her abilities for the benefit of mankind. The skull reminds us that the science, although greater than the life of any other individual, depends upon the contributions of individual scholars. The two light quarters of the shield represent truth known to us. The dark quarters represent truth still unknown. The diagonal golden band symbolizes the light and truths of science. As on the key, the serpent stands for wisdom. The colors of the society are red and green, blood red for zoology and leaf green for botany. The flower is the red rose, symbol of beauty and strength. The motto is Bapien Basin Bu, which means to see the foundation of life.
On behalf of the Upsilon Gamma chapter and the society, I welcome you to full regular membership in Beta Beta Beta. Behind you are your fellow members. At this time, they will come forward to congratulate you.
All right, moving on to our associate member induction. Mr. President and members of Beta Beta Beta, I present to you these candidates for associate membership in Beta Beta Beta.
Is the candidate qualified for regular membership in Beta Beta Beta?
They are. They have signified a true interest in the biological sciences. They have met the requirements for the Upsilon Gamma chapter and of the National Constitution of Beta Beta Beta.
Who are the candidates?
Ava D'Orazio, Sarah Helsel, Caitlin Kiliani, Jadiana Pino Sanchez, Noah Plappert, Kayla Smith, and Haley Smolik.
Having learned our aims and purposes, do you agree to adopt them as your own? Will you try to be a true colleague to each of the members of Tri Beta and strive to attain the threefold purpose of our society by seeking greater knowledge in the field of biological science, by trying to increase proficiency in research, and by cheerfully and freely imparting to others the knowledge that you have attained? If so, agree. Please answer, I do.
I do. I do.
It is now my privilege to declare you to be associate members of the Upsilon Gamma chapter of Beta Beta Beta, and I welcome you to our group. So now we'll do our senior recognition. We have a number of Tri Beta members that are graduating seniors and have earned special recognition for their hard work during their time at St. Vincent College. These individuals received Tri Beta honor cords to wear at the class of 2020's commencement in September. The members are Caitlin Akenclose, Marissa Anderson, Matthew Bayless, Laurel Bellocchio, Louis Bosamra, Morgan Casto, Nicholas Chadwick, Brian Signetti, Gina Coldren, Ashley Davis, Hannah DeBone, Sabrina Defoe, Danielle Dorenzio, Morgan Elric, Emmanuel Flores, Tyler Foradori, Nicolina Gervin, Allison Hartsek, Joseph Heath, Harry Hiles, Justin Hoffman, Stone Holtzman, Ashley Krause, Natalie LaMagna, Maura Loughran, Alyssa Lee, Jacob Lex, Robert Lynn, Abby Manning, Casey Markle, Maria McGuire, Leah A. Memo, Julian Metro, Alexis Mosier, Brianna Musser, Grace Noel, Johanna Phillips, Andrew Rechtenwald, Juliana Ruggiero, Rachel Sarnowski, Olivia Scott, Morgan Smith, Olivia Straka, Alyssa Turkovich, Stephanie Vaughn, Hannah Wheeler, and Emily Young. Finally, we'll go to our conclusion and benediction. I'd like to thank you all for taking the time to attend our ceremony today, and congratulations to the new inductees and seniors. To conclude this event, please welcome Father Shawn Anderson for a brief benediction.
Let us open our hearts to the Lord in the words of the psalmist. Praise the Lord from the earth, sea creatures and all oceans, fire and hail, snow and mist, stormy winds that obey his word, all mountains and hills, all fruit trees and cedars, beasts wild and tame, reptiles and birds on the wing. We thank you, Lord, for our intellect, our will, and our desire to learn about the natural world and to share what we have learned with others, with eagerness and with joy and with love. Continue to pour out your grace, your knowledge and desire to know and learn more about your creation into our minds and into the hearts of all of these students. And in these days, continue to be with them as we are in a time of separation, knowing that we are always united in you and in your Spirit. And we offer this prayer in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen. And may the blessing of God descend upon all of us and remain with us throughout this semester and as we go forward from this semester, wherever the Lord leads us, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Don't forget to check out the academic conference. Congratulations to everyone, new inductees and seniors. It was great to see everyone. And so thank you very much for attending.